just gave us the difference between a pure democracy and a republic, which we are. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic.
That's right. A republic, ma'am, if you can keep it. But now, under a democracy, that's mob rule. And so the word democracy does not appear in any of our founding documents. It doesn't appear in any of the constitutions of the 50 states. My daughter just spent some time, some years ago, in Rwanda. And there they had a democracy. 80% of the people were Hutu and 20% were Tutsi. And so the 80% voted to kill the 20%. And over the course of 90 days with machetes, they chopped 1 million people to pieces. Now that's what happened under the French Revolution. That's Pol Pot and the killing fields, etc. But our rights don't come from the majority. Now you'll hear people that run for office, they'll always use the term about women's rights and Hispanic rights and African American, because they believe rights come from the group. And they always want to divide us out into groups. But that conservatives, those are the Republicans that believe in a republic, we don't acknowledge any of those things. Either you're an American or you're not, because the rights don't come from the group, they come from God. And so in America, you can vote 95-5 to kill Jews, but you can't do it because the rights don't come from the majority. They come from God. And what are they? Life, liberty. Notice the sequence. See, liberty is a precious little value if you're dead. So you have to have life first, then liberty, then sewer systems and overpasses. But the first thing that you do is life. And so when somebody comes along and they say, you know, I think that's I think it's between a woman and a doctor, and don't want government involved in the bedroom. No. You're in the wrong country, because America is unique throughout the whole world. It's the one that protected life. So Jews knew that they could be chased from any place on the planet. They could just get under the canopy of protection of the American flag, that they would be protected. Why? Because America protects life. And what happens from that? Well, that 4% has created the light bulb, and the people hope to fly for thousands of years. And the Americans invented the airplane and put men on the moon, and the telegraph and the telephone, the global positioning system, the internet has blessed the world. There are skyscrapers all over the planet. Why? Because an American by the name of Elisha Otis invented the elevator. And there are places where it's 100, 120 degrees, miserable. Why? Because a fellow, an American by the name of Willis Carrier, God love him, invented the air conditioner. And so a ship parking at this very moment in Hong Kong or in Singapore is using a GPS system invented, conceived, and maintained by Americans. Most of the socialist countries, as you know, they don't take care of things. When socialism takes over in a city or a school system or a state, things deteriorate immediately because nobody owns it. And so the air traffic control system throughout most of Africa has deteriorated. The only way that people can fly is they use a GPS maintained by Americans. A Mercedes dealer in Buenos Aires orders a part from Stuttgart and using an internet conceived, invented, and maintained by Americans. So righteousness exalteth a nation. So this little 4% has done that more than all of the rest of the world combined, created more wealth than the rest of the world combined, and more importantly, is the lighthouse for the gospel. If you take, it's the standard of righteousness in the world. The only reason that ships aren't attacked on the high seas, as happened over 300 times last year, is because there are 327,000 Americans that wear the uniform of the United States Navy. And if a ship is attacked, as happened by the British once, who ruled the waves for 450 years, but when their little ship was attacked in the Persian Gulf, to whom did they appeal? They appealed to America, who's the standard of righteousness. And so our commitment to doing what is right has made it a focal of opposition. And furthermore, if you take all of the money that goes for global evangelism, you take all the money that goes to further the gospel from the entire world, and you increase it 5.5 times, that's still not as much as Americans give to further the gospel. So that makes America the center of attack. Scripture says if you want to take a city, you must bind a strong man. There's only one strong man in the world. It's in the United States. So take America down, the rest of it's a piece of cake. America's the one that stands with Israel. America's the one that stands for right and wrong in the banking system, in the legal system, in the maritime system. And so in this spiritual battle, it's essential that those who understand right or wrong show up and vote. And when Americans don't do that, then we have the consequences that come as we see what's happening in New York City, a beautiful city that just 48 months ago Mayor Giuliani said when he became governor, or when he became mayor, he said, I want a woman to be able to walk through Times Square at 11 o'clock at night unmolested. And that place that was just a hellhole and spray paint everywhere, and the subways were all a mess, and they were able to clean it up and do it. Now they've gone right back to where they are. Socialism always brings chaos and poverty, and doing it God's way brings abundance. And who makes that decision? You and I make that decision. And if we don't show up, then we see the consequences in Portland and Seattle and elsewhere, and it's a real tragedy. And America is right on the cusp. It's right on the edge. And the entire anti-American, anti-Christ effort is to undo our country at this time. And so that's why we can't let that happen. We must show up.